Probably the most challenging part for me of the teardown on this bike is the wiring. I'm not a natural electrician, and I'm learning lots as I go. Removing the coil is a real signal to me that this bike is now dead. The vital spark is gone. And it's going to be up to me and me alone to get this running again. Having never rewired a bike from scratch before, this is daunting. Taking pictures for me is critical as I go along for future reference. And there's a lot of help out there too, if you know where to look. Joining the many W650 Facebook groups, actually rejoining them as I had a 2000 model way back when, and posting questions has been a goldmine of information for me. I'm labeling everything on the old Loom as I go, and in order to get to the heart of the electrics on the W, particularly the igniter and ignition circuit, you have to remove the airbox before you can remove the Loom. Many screws on different parts of this bike are different lengths, and for the future owner of this stock airbox, yes, it's for sale, I color them with nail polish so you know which screw goes where. Again, having a set of plastic trim removal tools really helped me with gently removing springs and more delicate fittings that may be damaged by using a screwdriver or a metal pry bar.
Well, after another afternoon, I've got it down. Airbox finally came out. Loom is going further and further back. Coils are out. Carbs are now exposed. As you can see, the wiring is fairly complex. I've been labeling as I go along, as I think I mentioned in a previous video. Yeah, this is several weeks ahead of the videos you get, so I'm hoping to make progress. The idea, what I'm going for right now, is to try to get this motor out, and to do that, wonderful, easy way to do it. I was really concerned that I have to jack this up, and it goes out to the right. I may have to get a motor mount, and then once again, Rick Hanna from Dirty Dick's Motos came to my rescue and said, no, it's really easy, mate. Just do this. And oh my God, it makes so much sense. So I'm looking for some shag pile carpet, and that has nothing to do with seedy 70s porno movies, just in case you're wondering. You caught me. The crazy things you get up to when you're building a custom. I'm getting a lot of my parts because I literally cannot get what I need in Canada, and I can't find much of it in the United States without paying Trumpy's tariffs. And the postage is extortionate, especially when you're buying rims. So my greatest idea is I've got a contact in England. He's made me exactly the rims I want. I have got to get them back in a suitcase. So if you want to stay under getting massive bills for oversized luggage, your suitcase has to be about 28 inches by 12. Let me go metric. Its linear measurements can't measure more than 158 centimeters. In fact, WestJet, which is the Canadian airline I'm flying on, pity me, 157 centimeters. So I found a suitcase. It's my crusty and trusty hard case, green. This is the one I got my shocks back in, illegally, as I found out in Curacao, where I got the full grill drill in the bowels of the airport by 6 security guys. I still managed to persuade them, though. They love motorbikes. That was it. I must admit it, the shock absorbers did look like landmines on the X-ray. They had a point. Plus, they could have been filled with the drugs, which is another issue they have down there, not far from Venezuela. And Trump, again, he nearly got me. Shut the airspace the day before we flew there. Anyway, moving on. The idea is, you just saw me, I've just cut a piece of wood. This wood is slightly bigger than I believe the rims I've ordered will be. So standard rims on this are about 2.75, and they're wide and 19 inch. I'm going for 19 on the front again, but 3 inches wide. I'm beefing up the rims front and back because this is ostensibly going to be an off-road bike, right? A desert sled, a scrambler. So in order to make it a little more authentic, I'm beefing the front and rear rims up. It's just what I want to do. Some of you are going to say, why bother? That's because that's what makes us different, right? So here we go. I've got this piece of wood here. The new rim will be 3 inches wide, which is what this piece of wood is. This is 20.75 inches long. Yes, it is. ChatGPT says it'll be 1/4 inch shorter for the rim. And this actually, if I take a look at this, looks like it's even smaller than that. So this is oversized, it's 3 inches wide. Take into account of that. And we'll see if I can shut the suitcase without it bulging too much. I also want to pack some stuff around it too to make sure that maybe I should do it this way. Let's do it that way. Oh. So far so good. I can do this without moving it too much and making that piece of wood drop down inside. Well, there it is. And I believe it makes it. So there we go. I should be able to bring the front rim back in this one and the rear rim back in my wife's suitcase. Haven't told you yet. Wish me luck. That was a long day chilling the cider. It's only 3 or 4 degrees out, so great way to chill it.
Once again, thanks for watching everyone. If this is the first time you've watched, please consider subscribing. I do product reviews, motorcycle reviews, off-road and on-road vlogs, as well as tours. Don't forget to follow me on social media, that's Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and to like, and especially, I'm begging you here folks, subscribe. This is the Blue Mopple Rider, out.